To be or not to be? That is the question that my parents were asking themselves around about the time I turned 8 years old. They were trying to decide whether or not to take me out of public school and put me into homeschool. It's a difficult decision to remove your child from the socially acceptable venue of public school and put him into homeschool, as homeschool was not very well appreciated in those days. This was a major turning point in my life because my parents decided that this is what they were going to do for me. You might ask why. There were several reasons, but one of the main reasons at the time was the public schools in our area were subpar and substandard. Number one, the curriculum was terrible. The teachers were more worried about making sure that the students were capable of taking the tests that would make them good points on their yearly programs than they were about making sure that the students actually learned the curriculum in the class. And another reason was it was just not that academically challenged for me because I love to study and I like to learn, and most of the stuff that they were teaching didn't amount to much. Another reason that my parents decided to take me out of public school and put me into homeschool was at the time my father was a logging contractor, and a lot of the jobs that he had to do were far away from our home, and he was required to travel and be away from the house at long hours. We weren't seeing very much of each other, and my mother had to stay home with me because of my school schedule. Well, they thought that if I were homeschooled, then I would have a more flexible schedule and we could all be together more often. We could go to Dad's job or we could travel around and stay with him, and it wouldn't be so hard to be together as a family. So, that's what we did. There are several advantages and disadvantages to being a homeschooled student. Some of the major advantages for me was the one-on-one contact that you get as a homeschool student. You don't have to raise your hand and wait for a teacher to decide to say, okay, yeah, you can ask a question now and I'll answer it when I get the time. You don't have to do that. You have someone there that's right with you all the time. If you say, okay, I don't understand this, they can explain it to you however you need it. Another one of the advantages of this is we searched for a curriculum that was academically challenging for me. And we found one that offered college preparatory classes. And they had classes that none of the schools in our area had. And because of that, doors were opened and opportunities happened for me that might not have come my way if I had not gone into this homeschool curriculum. One of the major disadvantages of being a homeschooled student is the fact that you don't get a whole lot of social interaction with other children your own age. That didn't pertain to me as much as it would have others because we had a very active church life and I was active with our youth group, and so I got enough one-on-one interaction with other people that it took the place of that problem for me. Another disadvantage, and one that affected me more than the other, was the fact that there are not a lot of scholarship opportunities available for someone in a homeschool setting. The only scholarships that were readily available to me were those done by private companies and in private sectors, and those are not really available as much in our area. But we made up for that too, and all in all, my life as a homeschooler was amazing. I loved every minute of it, and as I look back now as an adult, I realized that because I was a homeschooler, I've had so many advantages that would not have come my way if I had not taken that course, and I'm so thankful that I did. It just goes to show you that homeschooling is a pretty good decision for your kids if that's what you want to do, and they would enjoy it. To be or not to be, it was for me, and I'm so glad it did.